Hello and welcome to This Is. Today I got my friend from PS Ready, Deck Ready, and all-around spooky dude, Jimmy Champagne, who has donated his Steam Deck here, and he's going to show us some of the tips, some of the tricks, and we're going to upgrade the SSD later on. What do you got for me, Jimmy?
Dude, this set looks a lot different than the last time I was on This Is.
It's been a hot minute since you've been here.
It's crazy.
You've been playing around on your channel, Deck Ready, with the Steam Deck for a couple weeks now. What is your actual thoughts on this thing so far?
Okay, so my handheld PC entry point was the Aya Neo Next, which I was not too impressed with, and this is much better. This thing is great. It's honestly exceeding my expectations a little bit, which is surprising because I looked at this thing for so long. I thought I knew what I was getting, and it's so much better.
My first thought when I held this feels like 3-4 times lighter than any of those devices just because of how well the weight is distributed. So even though this is a big chunky boy, you know, it feels really comfortable to hold. I just want to go around and do a little tour of this thing. So one of the things we talked about was in our last video with this was how many buttons there are on it. So we got obviously the 2 joysticks here, which feel a lot better than I thought they were. Like the initial reports from Linus was that these were kind of meh. These feel really nice to me.
Yeah, they're using Hall sensors, which makes them a little bit more durable and accurate than what you're getting in like a Joy-Con.
Have you experienced any drift with these? Because I know that a couple of these, I saw a couple reports of that, but I felt like it was more blown out of proportion.
It was software. Valve basically came out immediately and they were like, yeah, one of our software updates added in stick drift, and they had that fixed within like an hour.
Yeah, that's always great when you have a new product out that's actively being supported like that. Some other interfaces we have here. We have the 2 touchpads. You have your regular face buttons here. We have the D-pad on the back. You got the handle buttons here, which these feel a little mushy to me.
Yeah, I don't really know what the use case is there yet. I've only used them in Doom Eternal. That's been working out great, but that's really the only time I felt like where it added to the game enough for me to actually use them.
The shoulder buttons feel...
They got some good click. It's cool that you can see how the Steam controller has made its way into this device. Everything that didn't work about that thing works well on here.
All right, so you've been playing a lot of different games on here. Holy crap. I mean, you have a pretty big library on here.
Yeah, I do have a 1 terabyte micro SD card installed in it.
Now, have you found load times have been fine off the SD card?
It's not noticeably slow.
What has been your experience with these AAA titles? Are you running them at decent FPSs? Basically, what we're worried about is whether you're going to have to be running these at low settings just to be at locked 30.
So if you are a person who needs, in the core of your being, 60 frames per second locked on every game, you can get there on this thing, but you are going to have to make major compromises. But if you're someone who can handle 30 frames per second absolutely dead locked, this is the console or PC equivalent for you. I have just really used this setting here, that if you go into this quick settings menu and then you can set the frame limit to 30 frames per second, that stays absolutely perfect. So I've been playing Arkham Knight, all high settings, runs exactly how you would expect it to. It actually runs better than most gaming PCs because you lose all the stutter. The Steam Deck has a great feature where pretty much every game on it will pre-cache its shaders, which eliminates basically all stuttering. Where I'll say I was really impressed with this thing is with the desktop mode. The battery can last up to 8 or 9 hours in desktop mode.
It feels great. This feels just as smooth as any other device that I've used. It feels as smooth as a Switch, but it's a PC. It's great. It's impressive how much you're getting from this, especially for the price of it.
This is the 64 gig model. You're definitely going to need a micro SD card. When you start it up for the first time, you're immediately going to notice that you have about 40 gigabytes of usable space. So you're going to have to factor in the cost of a micro SD.
What we're also going to do later on is we're actually going to upgrade the 64 gigs to be 256. So even though we bought the base model for this one, we have an extra SSD, which we can change ourselves. It's not fully recommended, but it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, I've done it before. It's pretty easy.
All right, Jim, how do I swap out the SSDs on this?
Well, step 1, we got to shut this thing down.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, and all we need to do this is a Phillips head screwdriver, a couple picks, a little spudger, and an SSD, which is next to me.
You also need this, which is the recovery image. You have to download the recovery image, make a bootable USB drive. I'm not going to go through this whole process here. I'm just going to walk Matt through it literally in real time. So if you want a full detailed tutorial, head over to Deck Ready because I have a video there.
All right, let's do this. All right, so we got the screws out. There's 8 screws around the edges. Do be mindful that the outer ones are different size than the inner ones.
It's easier to go in right underneath the right bumper, and then you just kind of work your way across. Or right or left bumper. It doesn't really matter. And it's actually pretty easy. I took apart the Aya Neo Next because we had trigger issues with it. That was a nightmare, and it didn't even fix the issues. So this is much easier than the Aya Neo Next to take apart. I think it comes down to this plastic design. Like, it's all the same plastic all the way across the entire device. So everything just kind of like pops out and clicks back together perfectly. Seems like you pretty much got it.
I am struggling with this side.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, show me how it's done.
The way that I did this was okay, Matt. I'm gonna give it back to you, guys.
Right.
Just trust me. I popped it off the right way.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put.
It's mostly off now. Just go
there.
through the bottom. Oh, there you go.
Look
Wow.
at that! Hey!
We did it. So yeah, it pops off really easily. You just feel like you're breaking it
I don't immediately see an SSD here.
because it is under this shield, and you also have to disconnect the battery.
What?
Yeah, that's why I think that's the main reason Valve said it's a little too challenging for just someone who's switching to this from like a Nintendo Switch and has no experience opening stuff up. You have to remove a shield and the battery. So there are 3 screws here. There's this one, and this one, which is underneath this tape.
So the tape that says if you put this there, you void your warranty.
I thought that's what that was, but it doesn't do the sticker thing. I'm pretty sure Valve said the only way the warranty is voided is if you break it while you're doing this. But if you put it back together and it stops functioning, you're usually good with the warranty side of things. Something I learned thankfully before doing this process is that you can't hot swap SSDs. Yeah, you don't want to take the SSD out and put another one in while there's any power connected to the motherboard. All right, Matthew, you got to disconnect the battery now. There's this little ribbon here. You can pull it. It'll disconnect. It's pretty simple. Just be kind of careful with it. It'll just slide right out.
Bam.
Now hit the power button a few times to really get all the juice out of it. Should be good. Should be good. We're going to call it good. If you do have a 64 gig one, I saw confusion. It will be in the NVMe slot.
All right, so this is a 2230 NVMe drive. This is the same drive that's in like a Microsoft Surface. You can actually just use the same exact drive from that. Now, this maxes out at 256, correct?
No, you can buy a 1 terabyte
You can buy a 1 terabyte.
They just ship from China. They're on eBay. They
Okay.
take a long time to get here. They're not as widely available as the normal sized NVMe drives.
Okay. And is it right here?
Yes.
Cool. So we got one more screw. I'm going to steal that.
So you need to keep track of this little shield because that messes with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
So how do I take this guy off?
Should just pop up. Yeah.
Pop up.
And just slide it out like any other NVMe drive.
All right, so we got the sleeve back on the SSD. So we're just going to do the whole thing in reverse then. Pop this in. Get our NVMe screw. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow, you're a pro. Looks like you're an expert at this.
I'm practically, I could beat Austin.
We'll see if it works when we turn it back on.
All right, so before we put everything back together, I just kind of want to look at the insides because this is the first time I'm seeing it. I mean, we got a nice little copper heat pipe here to the processor. Got a little heat pad there. Nice little fan. So we got an L-shaped battery here.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
This fan is the biggest flaw of the entire system.
Oh, really?
It is loud.
Loud?
It has a whine. The speakers in the Steam Deck are phenomenal. They're surprisingly very good. You have to basically keep it at around halfway or use headphones if the fan noise is going to bother you. Valve has said that they think they can fix it with software, which seems dubious to me. But yeah,
probably just
something
throttling down the RPMs or something like that to avoid that. Under the tape, it looks like it connects to the heat pipe, but it looks like this shroud.
Yeah, doesn't this look like the shroud is what actually connects to the heat pipe?
Yeah.
And the fan is underneath it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I feel like you're getting into voiding warranty territory, but if it annoys you that much, it is a PC, and I feel like part of the fun here is knowing how to put it all back together, right?
I mean, there's a lot of really, like, they crammed a lot in here. I mean, you see the way that they're kind of sandwiching these PCB boards. The Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth looks like underneath the SSD, which is why we need to have that that shield on there. They've crammed so much into this, and I'm really impressed by this.
And parts are going to be available on iFixit. They said they're partnering up with iFixit to be able to like give you replacement parts so you can service this thing yourself if anything stops working.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a decent mod community for this because like if we look at here, the triggers they look like they just pop out pretty easily. I wonder if you could get like third-party triggers down the line where you can mod those up because all of these components, everything has a tab to pull it out of the ribbon cables. And
most of the stuff is labeled as well.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it. That was dead simple to replace that. That's an easy way to save yourself a couple $100 on this. If you do end up getting the base model, updating the SSD is, I think everyone should do.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how easy it was to replace this SSD, right? Like,
Took all of 10 minutes. So there we go. We swapped out the SSD. It took about 10 minutes to take this apart. It's super easy. It's only one screwdriver. I mean, anyone should be doing this.
The hardest part for me was taking off the back. Obviously, that feels like a little bit scary. But once you've done it once, you kind of realize that it's not that bad. And also, getting the battery out feels a little terrifying. But when you do it, super easy, right?
Now, you do have to flash the SSD with new OS. If you check out Jimmy's channel, he goes in step-by-step ways to do that. I mean, I'm super impressed with this hardware. I'm super impressed that it's able to run these games. For a handheld device, I think this is pretty great. Let us know in the comments what you think. Be sure to check out Jimmy's channels, PS Ready and Deck Ready, and we'll catch you in the next one.
You covered it all. What am I supposed to say now?
Say goodbye and good night, Jim.
Goodbye. Good night.
Jim.
Jim.